Why does she crave the one who doesn't chase? Why does walking away shake her more than staying ever could? What if I told you? It's not just women. It's the entire world. The moment you stop begging to be chosen is the moment you become undeniable. Comment, I choose strength, if you're ready to walk into the life you truly deserve. Number 1. Why being too nice backfires. You wake up thinking of her. Every move you make is adjusted to make her comfortable. Every decision is second-guessed in your mind, wondering how she'll perceive it. You find yourself canceling plans with the people who've always had your back just to be available for someone who doesn't respect your time. And in your mind, you call it love. You call it being thoughtful. But what you've really done is trade your value for validation. And the sad part is, she sees it, she feels it, and she grows colder each time you bend your spine in hopes of being acknowledged. She might smile when you agree, but deep down she's losing respect every time you fold. Because the moment you stop being a man with edges and opinions and boundaries, you become an emotional doormat. She no longer needs to test your strength because she already knows the answer. You've given up your power in exchange for proximity, and now she's not drawn to you. She's repelled, not because you're weak physically, but because you've become weak emotionally. Your emotions orbit around her approval like a satellite, and she feels the pressure of carrying your worth on her shoulders. And women weren't made to carry the emotional load of a man's self-worth. You were told that if you're gentle and always available, she'll stay. But what you weren't told is that women don't stay where they feel like the leader. They crave a man who leads himself first, not someone who constantly needs reassurance. And this is why being too nice, when it comes at the cost of self-respect, backfires brutally. And you may think you're doing the right thing, but deep down, you're training her subconscious to see you as an option, not a prize. She doesn't wake up wondering about you anymore because she already knows you'll be there, always, whether she deserves it or not. And the worst part is you know this. You feel the resentment building every time you do more, hoping it'll be appreciated, and it never is. So here's the truth. Being kind isn't your problem. It's being selfless without limits. It's pouring yourself into someone who's never had to earn your attention. You think love is supposed to hurt. That being ignored is just part of the process. But real love starts with you respecting yourself enough to walk away when your value is being mishandled. It starts when you realize that your time, your energy, your peace are not infinite. And every time you hand them over too freely, you communicate that they were never valuable to begin with. That's why she walks away from you and runs to the one who sets boundaries. Not because he treats her badly, but because he treats himself well. He doesn't overextend. He doesn't cancel his life. And that's what makes her chase. Not the chase itself, but the feeling that she has to earn a place in his world. And the moment you take back your dignity and stop overcompensating, she feels it. The shift in your energy, the strength of your silence. And either she rises to meet your new standard, or she fades. Either way, you win. But the man who continues to overgive, to overtext, to over-apologize, is always the man who's left wondering what went wrong, while the guy who said, "I'm enough with or without you," becomes unforgettable, because true attraction isn't built on emotional slavery. It's built on presence, on power, on peace. And when you learn to stop trading your self-worth for moments of approval, that's when you truly start living, not just in relationships, but in everything. And if you're ready to break free from the constant self-abandonment and finally reclaim your power, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint is for you. It's not just a book, it's a transformation. Built with timeless Stoic principles, this guide is the step-by-step system every man needs to build unshakable confidence, emotional strength, and clarity in relationships and life. And now, it's available as an audiobook. You can listen to it while walking, jogging, driving, or during your workouts, turning every moment into momentum. No more second guessing, no more begging, no more shrinking yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. This audiobook becomes yours forever, your personal code to revisit anytime you need strength, direction, or grounding. The link is in the comments. Number 2. The power of saying no. You think saying yes makes you agreeable, makes you likable, makes you the one who sticks around and gets chosen. But deep down, every time you say yes, when your heart screams no, you betray yourself. And with every betrayal, you chip away at your confidence, you give away your energy, you dilute your value until what remains is a man who's no longer respected, just tolerated. And this happens slowly, quietly, in the name of compromise, in the name of love. But what you don't see is how your inability to say no is destroying everything you're trying to protect. Because no one, especially a woman, can respect a man who cannot stand on his own ground. And that ground is forged by your boundaries, by your standards, and by your refusal to be molded into whatever she needs you to be in the moment. The man who says no isn't cold, he's clear, and clarity is power. Saying no is the ultimate act of self-respect. It says, I know who I am and what I stand for. It tells her, the world, and most importantly yourself, that your time, energy, and presence are not free for everyone. They're earned. And that truth makes you rare. It makes you valuable. Because in a world full of desperate approval seekers, the man who can say no becomes a lighthouse, unwavering, immovable, and respected. And the irony is that she'll test you just to see if you'll fold. She'll push just to see if you'll bend. Because what she really wants isn't control, it's certainty. And if you say yes to everything, you become emotionally unsafe. You become unpredictable in your weakness, not in your mystery. But when you say no, calmly, without rage, without emotion, you communicate depth, stability, and leadership. And this is what women crave but will never say out loud. So start saying no to disrespect, no to manipulation, no to double standards, no to energy that drains you. Because every time you say no to what diminishes you, you're saying yes to the man you're becoming. And that version of you is a force. He doesn't chase, he attracts. Not because he's trying to be distant, but because he's busy building a life so rich and fulfilling that anyone who doesn't add value is simply uninvited. And this power doesn't need to be shouted. It's felt in your presence, in your calm, in your decision to walk away from situations that most men stay in out of fear. So how do you build this? You start with self-reflection. You start by asking yourself where you say yes just to avoid being alone, where you say yes just to avoid confrontation. And then you stop. You replace those empty affirmations with silence, with stillness, and with standards. And you watch how fast people's behavior around you changes. Because the moment you raise your standards is the moment people rise to meet them or remove themselves. And either way you win. But it starts with the courage to say no, and not just to her, but to the version of you that was too afraid to put himself first. Number 3. Attraction needs space. You want to be loved so badly you think access equals affection. You think the more available you are, the more likely she'll choose you. But she doesn't want what's always there, what's always texting, always waiting, always ready to drop everything just to prove you care. Because the moment she knows she has you on a leash, the desire to chase dies inside her. And you've seen this. You've felt it. The moment you start checking in too much, she checks out. And it's not because she's cruel. It's because attraction is rooted in uncertainty, not in security, but space. And when you don't give her that space to feel your absence, she starts to suffocate in your emotional over-availability. You become her comfort blanket, not her desire, and you keep trying to make her feel something by doing more, saying more, texting more. But all you're really doing is pouring water on a fire that could have burned bright if you just let it breathe. Because when you remove that space, You remove her imagination, her mystery, her anticipation. And those are the very ingredients of desire. She wants to feel that rush when she sees your name pop up. Not because she's used to it, but because she's surprised, because she didn't expect it. But if you're always there, there's nothing to miss, nothing to long for, nothing to desire. And this is where most men fall apart. They don't understand the balance between attention and distance. They think affection equals approval, and they smother her with presence instead of inviting her into their world by living with purpose. You need to stop texting her just to get a response. Stop checking in because you feel anxious. Stop living on your phone hoping she'll notice you, because she won't. Not when you're always right there. Availability is not the same as value. If she can access you whenever she wants, she knows she doesn't have to earn you, and people don't value what they don't work for. It's not about manipulation, it's about reality. And the reality is, women are drawn to men who are moving, not waiting, building, not begging. And if you've got nothing going on in your life but chasing her, then why should she be drawn to you? What's there to pull her in? What gravitational force do you have if everything revolves around her? Space isn't about being cold. It's about being committed to something greater than just her attention, whether that's your fitness, your business, your craft, or your growth. And when you live in that energy, people feel it. You're not texting because you're bored. You're not posting to be noticed. You're engaged in your own path and journey. And this creates space naturally, not through strategy, but through identity. And when she feels that, she starts to wonder where you are, what you're doing, who you're becoming. And that wondering becomes attraction. That not knowing becomes intrigue. But you kill all of that when you show up too much, when you ask too many questions, when you check in just because you feel empty. And if you want to reverse this, stop trying to get her attention and start becoming someone who's worth being noticed. Delete the need for constant validation. Reclaim your time, your energy, your focus. And when you start doing that, you stop obsessing over who didn't text you back and start obsessing over the life you're building. And that shift creates magnetism. It makes her realize you're not chasing her because you've already caught purpose. And purpose beats attention every time. So you stop over-explaining, stop reacting instantly, stop wondering if she's pulling away, and start recognizing that if she can't handle the space you need to grow, she was never going to grow with you anyway. Attraction isn't built in comfort. It's built in tension, not toxic drama, but emotional weight. The weight of being a man who doesn't need to be understood every second, who doesn't need to be seen to stay grounded, who doesn't need her to stay centered, because he's focused on building a life that commands attention by its own gravity. And when you master this, when you live in alignment with your own values, purpose, and direction, you no longer need to create space. Your life becomes the space, and anyone who wants to be part of it knows they need to bring value, not just emotions, but alignment. Because a man who fills his life with mission has no room for distractions, and that makes him powerful, and power, in its calmest form, is what draws everything toward it, including her. Number 4, why you lose when you chase. You chase because you're scared. Scared that if you don't try hard enough, she won't see your value. Scared that silence means you're forgotten. Scared that if you don't remind her you exist every day, she'll find someone better. But what you don't realize is that chasing her doesn't just push her away. It erases everything she once saw in you. Because when a man chases a woman who's pulling back, he's not being persistent, he's being desperate. And desperation is the single most unattractive energy you can radiate. It smells like fear, it feels like pressure, and it tells her you've built your identity around her approval. And the moment you place your worth in someone else's hands, you've already lost. Not just her, but yourself. And what's even more painful is that you know this. You feel the shame every time she leaves your message unread, every time she ignores your call, every time you explain yourself again hoping she'll understand, And you tell yourself you're just being a good communicator, just being thoughtful. But deep down, you know you're trying to win someone who's showing you they're not choosing you. And yet you keep going, keep proving, keep bending, thinking if you're nice enough, patient enough, consistent enough, she'll come around. But she won't, because people don't value what's handed to them without demand. And when you keep showing up after disrespect, you teach her that bad behavior has no consequence. You teach her that your love is unconditional even when it hurts you. You teach her that she doesn't need to earn you, and that's why she starts seeing you as less. Not because you're not valuable, but because you don't act like you are. You chase her when she pulls back thinking it'll bring her closer. But what it really does is confirm that you're more invested in her than she is in you. And that imbalance kills attraction, kills tension, kills everything that made her interested in the first place. Because the moment she feels she has you locked down, she stops trying, she stops wondering, she stops respecting, and then you spiral. You start wondering what you did wrong, how you can fix it, what to say next. But the answer isn't in what you say. It's in what you stop doing. Stop texting when she's unresponsive. Stop calling when she avoids you. Stop showing up in places she doesn't invite you to. Stop explaining yourself to someone who doesn't want to understand you. Because the more you chase, the further she runs. Not because she's cruel, but because your energy tells her she can do better. And that's not her fault. That's yours. Because you made her your priority before she even decided if you were hers. And the tragedy is, you think this is romantic. You think this is effort. You think you're being the man every woman says they want. But you're not. You're being the man they use until they find the one who doesn't need them to breathe. And that's who you need to become. Not for her, but for yourself. The kind of man who doesn't chase. Not because he's playing games, but because his life is so full he doesn't need to. The kind of man who doesn't beg to be noticed because he's already noticed by the people who matter. And if she doesn't see your value, that's not your cue to try harder. That's your cue to leave, to refocus, to rebuild. And every time you feel the urge to chase, you stop and ask yourself, what part of me is still trying to prove I'm enough? What part of me still thinks I have to earn what I already am? Because when you heal that, when you build from that, when you look in the mirror and realize you were always enough, the need to chase dies, and what rises in its place is certainty, clarity, direction, and a kind of power that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. It radiates from the way you carry yourself, from the boundaries you enforce, from the peace you protect. And that's when everything changes. Not because you convinced someone to love you, but because you loved yourself enough to stop proving, stop performing, stop pursuing people who don't see you. Because when a man stops chasing what doesn't choose him, he begins attracting what was always meant for him. And you don't get there by running after anyone. You get there by walking away from everyone who makes you feel like you have to. Number 5. Walk away without anger. You think walking away means slamming doors, shouting, proving a point, showing her how much she hurt you. But real walking away doesn't look like revenge. It looks like peace. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because the man who walks away without needing to be seen, without needing to explain, without needing her to feel what he's feeling, is the man who finally understands what self-respect feels like. And you don't learn this overnight. You learn it through pain. Through the slow death of your dignity, every time you stay in a place where you're not valued, every time you argue with someone who's already made up their mind to not understand you, every time you keep hoping she'll change while she keeps showing you who she really is, and you don't need her to scream, "I'm sorry," or admit she was wrong. Because when you're grounded, you don't need closure from someone who benefits from your confusion. And that's the part most men miss. They think closure comes from a conversation, from a final talk, but it doesn't. It comes from decision, from choosing to stop entertaining energy that drains you, from no longer trying to fix what was never yours to fix. And that's why walking away without anger is the ultimate act of power. because it means you're no longer trying to prove anything. Not to her, not to yourself. You're done performing, done negotiating your worth, done begging for clarity from someone who thrives in your emotional chaos. And you stop blaming her for how you feel, because you start taking responsibility for the fact that you stayed too long, gave too much, hoped too hard. And once you own that, everything shifts. Not because she changes, but because you do. You start responding with silence instead of sarcasm, with absence instead of arguments. And the silence cuts deeper than any words could, not because it's cold, but because it's clear, and she starts to feel it, not immediately, but slowly, like an itch she can't scratch, because you're no longer emotionally accessible, no longer available to be toyed with, no longer reacting every time she pulls a string. And that's when the real power shows, not in what you say, but in what you no longer respond to. And if you want to reclaim your peace, you need to stop explaining your worth to people who've already shown you they don't see it. Stop hoping they'll wake up and realize what they lost, because if they couldn't appreciate you while you were giving your best, their regret is not your responsibility. And if she circles back when she sees you've pulled away, you'll know it's not because she changed. It's because she lost control, and now she wants the access she no longer deserves. But you don't take the bait, you don't re-engage, you don't respond to texts designed to test your boundaries, because you've already left emotionally before you ever left physically. And now she's just talking to the ghost of the man who used to tolerate less than he deserved. And what makes this so real is that the moment you finally walk away without anger, she feels the shift, because it's not emotional, it's spiritual. You've detached not from her, but from the version of you who thought her love would save you. And in doing that, you save yourself. You don't walk away to hurt her, you walk away to heal you. And every step you take away from her confusion is a step back into clarity, back into purpose, back into alignment with who you are when you're not begging to be chosen. And the beauty of it is that you don't need anyone to validate this choice, because the peace that follows is all the proof you need that you did the right thing. And from this place, you move different, not bitter but better, not guarded but grounded, not cold but clear. And you never again entertain someone who makes you question your worth, because once you've tasted peace, chaos becomes unappealing, and once you've walked away without anger, no one can make you feel small again. Number 6. You choose her, you don't need her. You grow up believing love is about finding someone who completes you, someone who fills the emptiness you've carried in silence, someone who validates what you never received. And that belief, while romantic, becomes your curse, because the moment you look to someone else to complete you is the moment you give away the pen that writes your story, and what starts as love quickly turns into dependency. You text her to feel okay, you call her to feel enough. You wait on her words to decide if your day is good or bad, and when she's cold, you question everything about yourself, not because she holds power, but because you gave it to her. And that's the moment you stop being a man and start being a reflection of her emotional availability. If she's sweet, you smile. If she's distant, you spiral. And now your whole identity is wrapped around someone who doesn't even know who she is. And this is how most men lose themselves, not in loud breakups or heartbreak, but in the slow, invisible erosion of self-worth that comes from constantly seeking to be needed instead of choosing to be aligned. Because there's a massive difference between needing her and choosing her. Needing says, I can't breathe without you. Choosing says, I love what we share, but I'll be just fine if it ends. And that energy changes everything, because when you need her, she feels the pressure to carry your emotional weight. And no one can sustain that burden, not long term, not without losing attraction, because deep down what she wants is a man who already stands tall, already walks with clarity, already knows who he is. And when that man chooses her, it means something. It hits different because she knows he could leave, not because he's cold, but because he's full. And fullness doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't compromise dignity for attention. Fullness observes and decides, and this is the energy that makes her feel chosen, not needed. And ironically, it's in this space that real love is built, because real love cannot grow in need. Need is desperation. Love is freedom. And freedom says, I want you here, but I don't require you to survive. And the only way to get to that level of freedom is to build a life that feels good without her in it. Not out of bitterness, not to be some fake alpha, but because your time is already filled with purpose. Your energy already belongs to a mission. Your validation already comes from the work you put in, the life you're building, the standards you refuse to drop. And when she enters that space, she either adds value or she exits quietly. Not because you're hard, but because you're clear. And clarity creates gravity, because now you're not reacting to breadcrumbs. You're not chasing after half-hearted attention. You're evaluating, observing, and choosing with discernment. And that discernment changes how she sees you, no longer as someone desperate for connection, but as someone powerful enough to walk away from what doesn't align. And when you speak from this energy, everything shifts. Your tone changes, your boundaries tighten, your presence sharpens, and she either rises to meet you or reveals she was never meant to be there in the first place. But either way, you win, because you're not chasing anymore. You're not hoping anymore. You're not anxiously waiting for her to come around. You're choosing peace, and peace isn't found in her arms. It's found in your discipline, in your clarity, in your commitment to never abandoning yourself again for the illusion of love. And from this place, you stop begging to be noticed. You stop adjusting to be liked. You stop explaining to be understood, because your presence now speaks for you. Your life now validates you. And any woman who walks into that space knows she's not needed. She's chosen. And when you live from that place, everything you attract is different. Not just in relationships, but in business, in friendship, in purpose. Because people feel when you're whole. They feel when you've stopped needing them to feel worthy. And they respect it. And if she doesn't, you don't fight it. You don't try to fix it. You let her go without anger, without begging, without proving. Because the man who chooses her but doesn't need her is the man she never forgets. The man who walks away if respect isn't mutual. The man who builds his kingdom first and lets her decide if she can match his pace. And that's who you become. Not overnight, not through pretending, but by choosing yourself every single day until she's just another choice, not your only option. They don't want you to hear this. Society thrives when you stay weak, distracted, emotionally broken, begging to be loved, instead of building a life that commands respect. The Stoic relationship blueprint will not only change how you see women, it will change how you see yourself, filled with timeless Stoic principles that transform your life immediately. It's the weapon every man needs to stop chasing, start leading, and live with unstoppable clarity. And now, it's available in audiobook form. You can absorb this life-altering truth while walking, training, driving, letting the mindset of kings sink into your soul. This book becomes yours forever. If you're ready to claim it, comment, "I'm done shrinking," like this video, and subscribe to help more men escape years of regret and finally start living as they were meant to. The link is in the comments.